Na constitution yashisa. Bazon mora ngale constitution amanyala le. Bazon mora ngalo.
On stage, you are going to talk about the constitution because you spoke about you almost mirrored the African National Congress constitution with this MK party constitution. I sat with Dr. Jabulani Khumalo, who told me about the proposition that he gave Zuma. So this is the constitution that we want you to advance and register and this, and they went on to register it. And then afterwards, there was a Huvo, Bila. I don't even know what, maybe will help us, what does Huvo mean? And then a draft document came from there. And in September, there was a constitution, which now is commonly referred as the Floyd Shivambu Constitution. So we're talking about 3 constitutions. And of course, there's an allegation that that original constitution that was filed for MK came from someone who identified himself as I don't want to mention his name. Okay. Yes. So he said he gave me a document. This document is the original document. So there are about 4 documents that are alleged to have existed. As you know, I ask everyone about this thing. Do you know anything about the original constitution? If you don't, it's okay. You'll talk about it later. But how is this MK then is formed, according to you?
Okay.
On social media, for instance, were saying, why is President of Mkhwebane having so much powers? Do you know the powers of the president in this constitution as compared to the powers which he had as a head of state and president is nothing. As head of state and president, he had the power to appoint all ministers, the power to appoint all directors general, the power to appoint all judges, to even appoint and nominate a constitutional court head, the chief justice, the power to appoint army generals, the power to go to war without consulting anyone. Why would we distrust President Zuma with just administrative powers of appointing provincial conveners and coordinators? When we know that he has got the experience, he has always utilized political power responsibly. So it's not a mistake that everything else that is in this constitution is not a mistake, it's a well thought process as to what is to be achieved. And there are so many things, comrades, which will give proper narrative and explanation of, which many people do not get to appreciate. It speaks here about the economic sovereignty. When President Zuma was president and head of state, and sometimes some of us were even misled, he understood that for a country to have full economic sovereignty or independence, you need to have energy sovereignty in terms of where is the source of your energy. Against all odds, he attempted to come with a nuclear build project, which there is nothing wrong with the nuclear build project.
MK bara leader. I don't have a problem. And I don't have interest. in the interim structures tsa MK party. Now my interest is a conference like at 2032 or 2035. My interest equal. Interest equal.
So Floyd Shivambu releases in a statement what I would call a preparatory letter. He writes it, he says detachments and branches must prepare for a policy conference that is coming. And he states, what is it that you guys must work towards? But the letter that I've seen does not have a date. Do you know when is the policy conference coming? And if it is indeed coming, are you hopeful that it will do anything? Policy conference, not elective conference.
No, I be like ask ke ka tsana mo yana too much yo. Ke se gore go na le kwalo. Go bontsha re do tse dintse ga re recognize we. Ga re tsebe serious like ke bua gore ga gona motho re fan support. Le councillor. You know some of the things they must communicate with us.
Yes.
Before they are on a social media. Wa utlwa gore wena o an interview o bolela ka something se nna sa sitse. Se le gore le bona go bontsha ra ba recognize. Nke ba romeletse rona di official tsa MK as councillors, as member of parliament. Nke ba romeletse. So but maybe khanyo it lisa ke khanya gore fela we are also saying mo di groupong gore we want a policy conference and le nna ntse ke ga ke tsola long ke re policy conference wa tla.
Yes. I'll find it and then I'll show it to you.
Okay.
If it is indeed happening, is it a good thing according to you?
Ke ntwe re khan re batla. But a policy conference we start amending the constitution. Yeah, gore khone re accommodate.
It's not your Floyd, Mus.
Has ya rona.
What in particular do you not like about this constitution?
This constitution is selective. Number one. It only caters the officials. But rona the ground members, ground forces, e re tswalla kwa ntle.
Yes.
And I agree selective. E beriswa mo o, ga e beriswe mo o. Number engwe mo constitution. I agree ke section mang. Mo leadership of the MK party must accept criticism.
Yes.
I just said it. I'm not afraid of him, but they are charging him for saying that. They are charging me for saying that. I'm not swearing at him. I'm saying I'm not afraid of Floyd, and there's nothing that he can do. And I'm still repeating that.
Yes.
But na opa like you accept the criticism.
So you are happy about a possible policy conference, but you want it to be after you have dealt with the constitution. Do you not think maybe at the policy conference it's then that you'd advance issues that are not palatable to you, emanating from that because then you would need a conference about a conference. Is that what you're saying? So meaning in escalating structures, maybe from detachments, maybe from regional detachments to the provinces, they must then say, let's suspend the constitution until after the policy conference. Like, where are you in this matter? Because for me, policy conference would then, in terms of policy, allow yourselves to lobby each other on issues that you think these ones are important. You put locks on the issues that you want. What's your understanding?
Remember, the only chance Eric amend a constitution ke yona policy conference. And ga gona le ka policy conferencing e be le sa touch base mo issue ya constitution. Recently example ka EFF. EFF e tla conferencing o ga re ka di 17 tsa December.
Yes.
There's some of the clauses but change the constitution ya bona. So le rona happy ge ke ba re in policy conferencing. Ro gona re dispute whatever se tsweng fa re amend o tshwantse re amend.
Yes.
And then the MK Party's bill, I think out of reading all of these key bills, it's the one that shocked me the most. they have so many amendments that are just so far and wide in terms of what they would like to do. Look, MK has called for the scrapping of the constitution and invoking parliamentary supremacy since its inception, which I think is quite funny given the fact that they've never actually had a full parliamentary bench out of all of their MPs. A year into the Smith administration starting, we often joke, how could you call for parliamentary supremacy when all of your MPs aren't in parliament? But I think when you look at MK's bill, more specifically trying to change section 1 of the constitution, which is seen as the foundations, it is really interesting from a political perspective, because when we look at the history of MK and the MPs in MK, more specifically their leader Jacob Zuma, none of these issues had ever really been a problem when they had held elected office under the Zuma era and the Zuma administration.
In August of 2025, go the Constitutional Court.
Thank you. You spoke about documents. I've spoken a lot about documents on this podcast regarding MK Party.
Sure.
And I want to hear your perspective. I'm repeating myself, and sorry for those who have not started with us.
I'm sure they'll be with you.
Yes. So, and I'm doing so I could just paint a picture for you. There's a first document that was required to register MK Party. That constitution was given to me by Jabulani Khumalo.
Yes.
And then there was a constitution that remained a draft that comes from Huvo Bilabila in Limpopo.
I recall that.
And then this was kicked on the teeth when in September of 2024, Floyd announced a constitution that declares Msholozi as a supreme leader who rules by decree. So there are 3 documents. So this one, let's put it down as a draft because it didn't happen, but there are people who still want it.
How did this one? You're referring to the first one?
No, the second one, the Huvo one.
Yeah.
The Huvo one, yes.
Fine, I'm with you.
Because the Huvo one happened after the elections.
Yes.
This is the first time we saw Bo Brian Molefe in the physical form,
yes,
in the pictures.
Yes, interesting.
Yes.
Entirely.
And I'm the one who likes to hold organizations accountable for what they told us. And when Floyd Shivambu released that constitution, I made a podcast dwelling into step by step of things that are not. Yes. So I put it on my podcast and say, here it is. I want to understand that first constitution speaks about elective conferences. It says the constitution, I read it when I was sitting with Advocate Mkhwebane to say the first constitution speaks about if you need to amend the constitution, it must be done at conference. And it clearly stipulates what should people do to get to conference because it's an elective conference. None of those things have happened.
Sure.
But the constitution has changed.
We hear they say that, yeah.
Yes. So I just want to understand, will that be part of the contest going to court? Because I honestly do not understand how it works or how you guys intend to make it work.
That's fine. I think it's a fair question. And I think your viewers and yourself will understand, Jorge. On certain aspects, I might not get into detail because this matter is yet to appear in court.
Yes.
And anything we say or do might have an impact.
Yes.
On the proceedings in court. However, the document you're making reference to ailing the first constitution, that's what still remains.
With IEC. IEC knows you with that constitution.
With the IEC, per the Electoral Act, because the Electoral Act governs how a political party is constituted, how you run that, and all other policies that govern that particular political party, right? Now, IEC will not come and infringe on how you should run that particular organization. So they're saying to us, give us documents of how you will manage this political party, to which we've done. That was done on the process here registration. So you're making reference to a clause about elective conferences, if you want to make amendments. Exactly. That document is what the IEC still holds in possession as far as we are concerned, because that is a document that was officially submitted. And the necessary processes are IEC when they gazette and they eventually give us certificates of you are an officially recognized political party with this constitution attached to it. So yes, it's to us, that's the document. And when I say to us, I refer to those who took the risk before it was popular. And funny enough, we had these discussions, Horim. What we do now, call it underground, bears a lot of risk. There were times where there were assassination attempts. Because there were times where certain people within that small circle leaked information, we assume, no? Or somebody might have be seen in certain places where they shouldn't have been, and people put 2 and 2 together, and before you know it, there are attempts. These things happen. You take the risk, your public office, knowing it has these potential risks, But we discussed this. There will be people who come in the context of infiltration and so forth. Let's have a document that protects, and ultimately that's the constitution that was submitted. Go IEC.
Okay. MK Party was formed in different pockets. When I say different pockets is, I argued many times that MK Party was formed in Jozi, but I also understand that it was formed in KwaZulu-Natal. The KwaZulu-Natal people will be Jabulani Khumalo and Comrade Name, and of course Gorbachev will be there, and you guys know each other. When I said with Gorbachev, spoke about these pockets who McDonald was the one who was coordinating, was speaking with other people from different things, because it was very difficult, as clandestine as it was, because it wasn't going to be quickly, because people would pick it up and shoot it before it even flies. But I understand that part. I just want to understand this part. The unity amongst the founding fathers of this thing. How united are you? In other things you would say friends of the court and friends of what. How united are these founding members of MK? You can start it anywhere, because I'm saying it at the backdrop of McDonald and Gorbachev.
Yes,
now have a political party.
Yes,
because they thought fighting for this thing. People think we are fighting against Jacob Zuma. I mean, this is what I'm speaking on their behalf. I'm not saying this is what they said. This is what I picked up when I spoke to them. So I just want to understand: are you united?
Clearly, we are not, and I think beating about the bush cut effects won't help anyone.
Yes.
And funny enough, this infant in the political landscape, Mzansi, has matured so quickly to give birth to 3 new political parties. I think the third being Comrade Mary Party. I heard she's made an announcement. So that speaks to
it's something very wrong, because you cannot do that.
Let's talk about that burning of the constitution. Which constitution?
Of the party.
Which one?
The constitution of the party, which was adopted by the party.
The September
constitution.
What we colloquially then termed the Floyd constitution, the one that Floyd read out. Is that...
You can't say the Floyd constitution, because it was adopted.
I deliberately give this disclaimer because, yes.
Well, it was adopted by the officials of the party and the president.
The reason I'm asking you that is because I had a meeting with the founders of this organization, and they lament the fact that there's a constitution registered with IEC, and that constitution says it is only at I think I've got a screenshot here that I'll read it for you. Remember, there was that constitution when you want to register, and they went to Huvo, Vila in Limpopo, and then there was another draft. While they were waiting for that draft, Floyd launched this, and that's why they call it the Floyd Constitution. And so let me see.
That's wrong, because I think you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
I know you say founders, but President Zuma is a founder, and there are others who were with him when the organization was started, and a number of them which you need to interview, because they are still fighting for that, and they've lost all the court cases. And irrespective of that, that constitution, the draft, it ended up being adopted in September by the party. It was it was
Yes.
deliberations, remember?
Yeah, I just want to check this. It's Rule 28. It talks about the amendments, and it reads as follows. Any amendment to this constitution shall be by a 2/3 majority of delegates present and voting at the national or special conference. Notice of intent to propose any amendments to the constitution should be forwarded to the office of the Secretary General at least 3 months before the national or special conference. The NEC shall be given at least 1 month notice for any constitutional amendment. So this according to
But it was never adopted, Ehuv.
Sorry?
It was never adopted.
This constitution?
Yeah.
No, this is not a draft according to them. So this is not a draft. So this is the constitution when you register MK. They put this constitution as a requirement to register the political party. This is what they say. So this is why I keep saying we are confused about which constitution. And then, being there as it may, the reason she, according to you, of course, you are not she torn it and bent it. What specific thing in the constitution is she crying foul over?
Because remember, she was removed now for violating the constitution. This constitution, she cannot be an island, remember?
Yeah.
We need to respect issue democratic centralism, because irrespective, the top 8 took a decision that we are operating with this constitution,
Yes.
which says you cannot take the party to court.
Yes.
And she violated the
Yeah. And I remember debating with them just before that to say, but why can't you put it on paper so people must not worry? That's the time people were taking each other to court. And then, lo and behold, that became a reality. They put it into paper. It's now a constitution. If Gayton McKenzie, you say he does not answer to any National High Command or NEC or National Working Committee, he himself takes a decision that has far-reaching consequences. Why can't he put it in the constitution to say Gayton McKenzie is the final arbiter at Patriotic Alliance? Plus minus, this is what I'm dropping to you. You can start anywhere you start, but just dwell on this matter. Compare them.
Let me start there with the issue of
PLF?
the PLF and IEC and everything.
Yeah.
We were failed by the IEC, my brother. I can tell you now, out of 17 political parties that are in parliament, out of them, only 7 that deserve to be in the ballot. And I will probably count them. It's the ANC.
Believe you guys, as the MK party, you believe that, Jacob Zuma also must respect the rules, the code of conduct of the party, the constitution of the party, whatever expectation of the party has. Otherwise, what kind of leadership is that where you say, all of you are not allowed to do this, but Ubaba can do it? That's what I'm trying to understand, which is why I'm broadening it, that if you are saying that it's okay for the former president as the MK party to have an ANC membership, have the MK party membership, how do you go to your members and say you can't do that?
But Clement, I'm saying it again, I'm saying that our constitution focuses on the character of the constitution is not talking about in terms of...
So you won't have an issue with members who do that?
I think yes and no.
Why yes and why no?
Why yes? Yes, that if we are part of the Progressive Front and we believe in that we have a common goal in terms of this is what we want to achieve. The no, because you can't be have a different ideology and come and then say I want to be a member of the MK party, because we can't. I mean, ideology is an ideology, and we pride ourselves in terms of the ideology that we carry.
Okay.
I was reading the constitution of MK party, but I noticed 2 things which contradict one another. Number one, they are saying they are subscribed to democratic centralism, Democratic centralism means the decision took by the upper structure is binding to the lower structure. And their upper structure is central high command. They are called it like that. That's a upper structure. And Zuma, as a president, is part of that upper structure. But they give Zuma responsibility. Go and check the responsibility of the president. They say he has power to restructure, to appoint and reshuffle, all those kind. So actually they give him power to dictate. Then on the other hand, you are saying you're having the high command structure. Then what is the use of that high command structure? If Zuma himself alone, he has the power to reshuffle, to appoint MPs. So that is a joke for me. And actually, I think the constitution of MK Party gave Jacob Zuma all the powers to dictate. All the power to dictate. And I'm shocked of Floyd Shivambu. How can he allow that? Because we are told that Floyd is educated. He has 4 degrees or 4 masters. He even went to Oxford. Then how can he settle for that shenanigans of a constitution? Floyd Shivambu is too desperate. I now understand why he left EFF. Because Julius said EFF cannot go to GNU when there is a DA and FF plus. So I can see that Floyd is obsessed with position. With that type of education he have, he cannot settle to that nonsense of constitution. But he can only do that because he's too desperate. I no longer trust Floyd Shivambu because he's no longer a thinking tank. He cannot think anymore. He's a follower. And Jacob Zuma, with the power given to him, it shows you that MK Party is his legacy. He has power to put his kids that Duduzane on strategic position. When he passed on, Duduzane will take over because it's his legacy. So I'm shocked and I'm happy that I did not vote for MK Party, and I will never. And Julius was right to say this is a Zulu hostel. It's a hostel. Hi guys, I'm shocked with that because that's not a constitution. It's a dictatorship kind of constitution, and we must call it from the mountain top. The same way you were calling Julius a dictator, let's call Zuma a dictator. But because in South Africa,
members and a broad framework on how policies of Mkhonto Sizwe will be organically generated towards a policy conference. The policy development process is grounded on the people's mandate and the adopted constitution of Mkhonto Sizwe. The key emphasis is that our policies are aimed at total liberation and freedom for our people. The policies of Mkhonto Sizwe seek to realize the broadest and total liberation of our people from political, economic, social, spatial, cultural, and knowledge or ideological apartheid and all other forms of oppression and exclusion. The National High Command also deployed the national officials and members of the National High Command to provinces, but also constituted committees that are going to support the High Command in fulfilling its responsibilities.
The 2 letters, the one that you submitted requesting that let Msholozi be the face while I remain the president, that letter, and the one that was forged to come behind, they've got different signatures. Even though they had different signatures,
even different logos.
Even different logos. And you had already raised your concern to say, whatever Duduzile is saying is not what I say. They still took their word and approved that request to remove you. When is that case sitting?
I like that question because IEC, one of the emails, Kim, is saying Mr. Khumalo has not instructed us that he is resigning as a president. is there on the emails. But still, Tutuzile submitted this letter and IEC approved it. I just wanted to highlight that. From here going forward, I think they call it tsunami. Something is going to happen, and very soon. And people...
Do you have dates for us?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I can't say much about it, but I'm saying it's coming.
So what happened? Just explain it to us in layman terms. What happened the last time you were in court with them regarding this issue?
No, when we went to court, because my lawyers were fighting for me to be in parliament at the time and also to keep my position as the president of the organization. We had no time to gather information and present the proofs before the judges. That's why we lost those cases. It was because of purely on those information that were not presented before the judge. Even the Cape Town one, the judge said, I need proof to deal with this. That's what we're going to be doing now.
I remember, I think you were in Market Street, where, is it High Court in Market Street?
Yes. High Court.
So where you had to live with a car and you had to bump other cars just to find your way out. And there were a large contingent of MK people who were...
No, it was not MK people. Those were thugs. They were hired.
Yes.
In actual fact, we got information. Some of them came and confessed. They were taken from one of the... GP, yeah. They were drinking there. They bought them beers. Some of their members, one of those people is a member of parliament. One of the other one is in the high command, they call themselves. And the others are, in the high command, and others are in parliament. I think about 2 or 3 that are in parliament. We know their names now. They went and paid those people while we were in court to come and disturb the when I was leaving.
Yes.
So we know that those were not members of the MK. They were purely thugs, people that were taken from their shipping.
Yeah. So the reason I'm asking you that is because I'm worried. I'm worried about you. And your family supported you, and they also given you your cars. You have lost money. And you, even where we are now, I'm starting to think maybe it's getting crowded.
That's
maybe,
why.
Exactly. That's why. Maybe we need to cut this interview. Do you think you need to fight, or you just cut your losses and go and live your private life and let this politics go? Because you're a genuine man, you're a good man. You do not need this, because this conniving, this backstabbing, this, I mean, IEC allegedly did you bad. And the MK did you bad. And it's more and more people who worked with you who now find that it's very difficult to be seen to working with you. They're also working away. Do you not want to go to retirement and let this politics go?
No. For one reason. South Africa is where it is because people believe that the politicians who are rogue, they must be allowed to continue with their rogue style. They're victimizing people for no reason, just because they have a position. They are so-called ex-president, they are so-called ex-ministers or whatever. We can't live like that. South Africa belongs to all of us, not that lives in it, because there are also visitors who are living in South Africa, but who are genuine, who are a birthright in South Africa. It belongs to them. And no one will ever get this country free if we'll always say, because so and so has so much of a power, it can't be taken on. If we live like that, with that fear, then we are not men. If you are a man, you must be bold enough. You must have your balls, and you must attack when it comes to that. I will never leave this one. This one Whether the organization, I take it back or I give it to anybody else, but I'm going to make sure that Zuma and his cronies and his thugs, they don't continue to ruin this country. We need genuine people who are going to lead this country. You can look at what Traore did. That boy became so brave. And you can see what Burkina Faso is where it is now. It's because of the boldness of that boy. We need bold people here in South Africa who are going to take on these thugs, who are going to take on these people who are so-called powerful, who are so-called, they are, I don't know, they are gods of this country. We can't have this. We have to change this. I'm not saying that I'm fighting to be a president of MK, but I want justice for the members of MK who worked so hard, tirelessly. They left ANC, they left EFF, they left IFP, they left everything. They came to Umkhonto weSizwe because they felt this is the home that will cater for them, that will take care of their problems. And they put their hearts into it. They put their money. As I was saying, others lost their families, others lost their jobs because they believed MK was the solution. But because Zuma doesn't want to see black people get freedom, he then did what he did. So I'm not going to allow it. I want justice. And I'm going to prove to the world and to the country that Zuma is a fraudster. He frauded my signature with his daughter, but he will never remain as a president of Umkhonto weSizwe. He must be out, and the right people, they must ascend the throne. They must come up and lead organization. Whether I'm there or not there, but they are people, good people, genuine members of MK, who can lead this organization, who were leading this organization. We had branches that we never installed, but people has installed it because they wanted to make change. So those people, they are still there. If Zuma is out, those people will come up and they will lead the organization and they will make sure that this organization grows. And I can tell you, without Zuma, MK with those members will go very far and will take this country. We'll get a president from those people. Those members